color sanding is, and if you don't know, I'm going to go ahead and give you a very quick lesson of what it is.
Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
Alright, basically what color sanding is what you do is you take 1500 or above. When I say above, I'm talking 2000, 4000 grit. So we're going to start out with 1500 sandpaper. This is wet sandpaper. And what we're going to do is we're going to block sand our finish. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you, this car has just been painted. Okay, we painted it yesterday. It's got 3 full wet coats of clear on it. And what we want to do is we want to match the finish, which is over here. We want to match that finish. Okay, we want to match the new finish to the old finish, if that makes any sense. And what we got to do is we got to get the orange peel out that was created from painting it, and also the little dust specks that might have fallen into the paint. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a sponge, we're going to take our 1500, and we're going to take a little rubber block. And to color sand that, all we're going to do is we're going to come over here, we're going to use our sponge for our water, and we're just going to sand it. And there's also another tool which fell on the floor. Let me rinse that off. If any of your tools ever fall on the floor, always rinse them off because you don't want them to get contaminated with dirt because they'll scratch your finish. Once you sand the area that you're trying to accomplish and try to buff, this is the step that we do before we buff it out and make it look shiny again. So basically what we got to do, we got to make it dull before we make it shiny. After you sand the surface that you're working on, you're going to take your squeegee, alright, this is a hard rubber squeegee, it's a flexible rubber squeegee, and you're going to squeegee it out. And then you're going to follow the light just like I'm doing to make sure that all the orange peel or dust specks or whatever you're trying to accomplish is gone. That is the normal way of doing it. We got a new way that we're going to do, and this is where we're going to color sand the car. I call it color sanding because the paint is already on the vehicle and it's already been clear coated, and we're sanding the color of the vehicle. Do you see what I'm saying? We are prepping it up for the finishing touches, which is buffing, so we will call it color sanding. And what we're going to do is we are going to use a DA sander, a dual action sander, with 1500 dry sandpaper. Now I'd like to mention that this procedure that I'm going to show you is not for every single paint job that you might come across, but if you're doing a job like this where you replace a panel and then you paint that panel and blend into the other panels, this situation works out very well. If you're doing an overall paint job, a custom overall paint job, and you're using a lot of paint and a lot of clear, and you're getting a lot of orange peel in it, or it's very, very thick and it really needs a lot of color sanding, this is not for you. All right, this is for the small, we might say, collision jobs. Before we go any further, I want to show you what we've done. As you can see, the car is taped off. We went ahead and replaced the hood on this vehicle, and then we blended the paint into the fender over here, and we also replaced a door skin on the driver's door because the door was bashed in. So we had to go ahead and blend the paint here. We went ahead and just painted that whole fender. We painted the door and we blended the paint into the rear door and then clear coated this whole area. So to attempt what I am going to show you to do, this is probably the maximum size job that this would even be possible to work on. And if it's any bigger than what I'm doing here, rely on the wet sanding instead of the dry sanding, because you're actually going to accomplish more wet sanding than you are dry sanding on a big giant job such as an overall paint job or what have you. So since this isn't really about wet sanding our vehicle, color sanding, we're going to go ahead and show you what dry sanding is all about. What we have here, we have a palm sander. This is a dual action orbital palm sander. Now this is a finish sander. This is the only type of sander that you can use on this particular job. I would not recommend that you use the big D.I.Y sander where it handles out here and you got to use 2 hands and all that. That's too fast. The throw of the action, the dual action, is too large, and what you're going to do, you're going to burn through your paint. So this type of sander is required for this job. This is a finish dual action D.I.Y sander. This is a palm sander. It's a one-hand sander, and it's very easy to control and very, very precise. If we take a look at our sander, what we're going to see is that there is, let me go ahead and break it down for you, because we don't just have a sanding pad on here. I'm sorry, it's dry sanding, you're going to get dust. But we also have 2 other pads that are very important, and these are Velcro pads. If you look right here, we got the Velcro pad, which is our standard pad that we are going to use with this sander. And we also got a foam pad, which is approximately 1/4 inch to 3/8 thick. And the reason that you use this pad instead of going straight to this pad is because this pad is foam and it will contour, as you're using it, it will contour to the edges and all the curves that you are trying to accomplish in sanding with the D.I.Y sander. And it will actually help you from burning the clear on the edges. The sandpaper that we're going to use is not made out of paper, it's made out of a plastic film material so it won't rip or tear or break. And it's got a surface on it so fine that sanding your fingers with it, you wouldn't even feel it or wouldn't even know. It just feels like a piece of plastic. And that is basically what we are going to use. This is 1500, it comes in 1000, you can get it all the way from 1000 up to 4000 grit. We're going to go with 1500. And the way that this polishes out, we shouldn't have to go to 2000 or 4000, I'm sorry. We shouldn't have to go to 4000 grit like I usually do, which is another day and another story. We're going to just go ahead and use the 1500, and we're going to go ahead and color sand our vehicle. Speaking of color sand, if you look real close, you can see that I've already done the hood. I've already sanded the hood. Now, you can take this to the limits as far as you want. I'm trying to match the paint texture that's already on the vehicle because this isn't a custom car, this isn't a flame job, this isn't graphics. This is a common brand new car that was bought at a dealership and the customer had wrecked the vehicle. Do you understand? So there's no sense getting a high quality, show quality finish on this when the rest of the car has factory orange peel, you might say. And if you look in the light, you can see that. So what we're doing is we are matching the finish that we laid down on the vehicle to match the original finish that's on the fucking car from the factory. And to accomplish that, we have to leave a little bit of the orange peel in the vehicle. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, look at the finish on your vehicle, then look at the finish on a show car where you stand 20 feet away from it and you can see a reflection in it. You're going to see a very, very big difference between factory finish and show car finish. So we are not taking this to the show car quality finish. We are taking it to the car dealer, car manufacturer finish.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.